It's absolutely certain. There is no doubt about this. It's absolutely certain, human curiosity fuels exploration of space and oceans. It's absolutely certain, Alexander the Great expanded his empire significantly. It's absolutely certain, every action has consequences, both seen and unseen. As a general rule. Usually true under most circumstances. As a general rule, practice helps students master difficult academic subjects. As a general rule, healthy diets include vegetables, proteins, and whole grains. As a general rule, teamwork improves productivity compared to working alone. To put it differently. Saying something in another way. Books enrich thoughts. To put it differently, reading expands human creativity. Pollution damages ecosystems. To put it differently, it threatens global survival. Democracy ensures fairness. To put it differently, it protects individual freedom. As a consequence. As a result or outcome of something. Crops failed repeatedly. As a consequence, farmers faced economic hardships. People overeat junk foods. As a consequence, obesity rates continue growing. They ignored safety protocols. As a consequence, injuries occurred frequently. There are manifold reasons. There are many different causes involved. There are manifold reasons. History shapes present political and social realities. There are manifold reasons. Electric cars are becoming more popular worldwide. There are manifold reasons. Languages become endangered or extinct over time. From an overall perspective. Considering the complete or big picture. From an overall perspective, plastic pollution harms marine wildlife significantly. From an overall perspective, automation enhances both efficiency and accuracy. From an overall perspective, global warming affects biodiversity and food supply. An underlying assumption. A fundamental assumption is being made. Economists adopt an underlying assumption that resources are always limited. An underlying assumption of the proposal is that costs will decrease eventually. Astronomers often make an underlying assumption about star formation rates. Most compelling evidence. the strongest proof supporting the case. Gravitational lensing remains the most compelling evidence for dark matter. Carbon dating provides the most compelling evidence for ancient civilizations. Satellite data provides the most compelling evidence for deforestation trends. Up to the present time. Continuing to the present moment. Up to the present time, artificial intelligence still lacks human-like consciousness. Up to the present time, women's rights have progressed but remain incomplete. Up to the present time, black holes remain partially understood cosmic mysteries. To put it differently. Expressing it using other simple words. To put it differently, success depends more on effort than talent or intelligence. To put it differently, innovation drives the engine of human social advancement. To put it differently, antibiotics revolutionized medicine by controlling infections. By the same token. Similarly, for the same reason or logic. By the same token, digital addiction reduces sleep quality and social interaction. Technology improves life, by the same token creates different privacy concerns. By the same token, astronomy inspires curiosity and advances human knowledge. Another essential point. An additional important factor to consider. Another essential point involves leadership skills for building resilient societies. Another essential point in writing is maintaining a logical structure throughout. Time management is crucial. Another essential point is prioritizing urgent tasks. Nobody knows why. The reason remains completely unknown. Nobody knows why ancient civilizations vanished without leaving clear evidence. Nobody knows why placebo effects sometimes lead to real health improvements. The river changed course suddenly. Nobody knows why erosion increased largely. On a regular basis. Happening repeatedly at consistent intervals. Nutritionists advise eating vegetables on a regular basis for strong immunity. Employees are expected to update reports on a regular basis for management. Reading scientific articles on a regular basis expands academic knowledge base. It is widely believed that most people commonly accept this idea. It is widely believed that sleep is vital for learning and memory consolidation. It is widely believed that smoking directly increases lung cancer development. It is widely believed that artificial intelligence will reshape industries in future. It is a proven fact that it has been firmly demonstrated to be true. Experts stress it is a proven fact that technology influences human behavior. Economists highlight it is a proven fact that inflation reduces purchasing power. It is a proven fact that hydration noticeably affects brain cognitive performance. In the final analysis, after evaluating everything considered, in the final analysis, ethical business practices increase public trust and loyalty. In the final analysis, history teaches invaluable lessons about human resilience. In the final analysis, balanced nutrition is essential for maintaining good health. It is evident that clearly observable or easily noticeable fact. It is evident that corruption discourages foreign investment and public trust. It is evident that climate change significantly affects global weather patterns. It is evident that discipline remains essential for success in competitive sports. In other words, stating it differently for clarity, the firm cut costs, in other words, reduced many employee benefits recently. In other words, self-discipline shapes long-term personal and academic success. The medicine works slowly, in other words, results take several weeks appearing. As previously stated. As mentioned earlier in the discussion. The activist noted, as previously stated, pollution affects public health critically. The trainer highlighted, as previously stated, consistency brings the best results. The principal said, as previously stated, discipline ensures a better environment. In the same fashion, done similarly or using the same method, children learn through play. In the same fashion, adults learn through practice. Discipline creates success. In the same fashion, laziness invites eventual failure. In the same fashion, nature thrives when balance is respected and maintained. One could argue, it could be reasonably contended that one could argue human curiosity has driven progress more than survival needs. One could argue history teaches lessons, often ignored by modern generations. One could argue music impacts emotions more deeply than words can describe. The evidence indicates. Proof points toward a specific conclusion. The evidence indicates early humans developed tools over 2 million years. In economic data, the evidence indicates rising employment rates this quarter. The evidence indicates the universe is expanding faster than formerly thought. Despite the fact that, even though something is actually true, despite the fact that electric cars are cleaner, their batteries pose challenges. Despite the fact that aid is provided, poverty cycles continue in many regions. Despite the fact that vaccines are available, some diseases remain widespread. It is obvious that, understood without any special explanation, it is obvious that consistent practice improves language learning significantly. It is obvious that deforestation affects both biodiversity and climate stability. It is obvious that leadership demands responsibility and clear decision-making. In recent years, over the last few years' time, in recent years, space telescopes discovered thousands of distant exoplanets. In recent years, online education platforms gained immense global popularity. In recent years, automation has replaced some repetitive human-driven tasks. Closely linked factors. Factors that are strongly interconnected. Closely linked factors explain rising obesity rates across urban populations. Nutrition and brain development are closely linked factors in early childhood. Genetics and environment are closely linked factors, shaping human behavior. It's worth noting. This detail is important to remember. It's worth noting ancient Egyptians built pyramids without modern machinery. It's worth noting that teamwork often achieves better results than competition. It's worth noting that small savings accumulate into extensive financial security. Once in a lifetime. A very rare or unique opportunity. The sunrise from the mountain peak was a once-in-a-lifetime stunning sight. Climbing Mount Everest becomes a once-in-a-lifetime personal achievement. Some cultural festivals offer unique once-in-a-lifetime experiences for tourists. Go the extra mile. To make more effort than expected. Businesses go the extra mile by offering customer service to build loyalty. Innovators go the extra mile, creating sustainable solutions for communities. Archaeologists go the extra mile to uncover hidden ancient artifacts carefully. Time is money. Your time is just as important as money. He reminded everyone that time is money, and delayed decisions cost dearly. During the auction, bidders realized time is money when placing rapid offers. Investors understand that time is money when monitoring market fluctuations. At face value. To accept something as it appears to be. At face value, his explanation seemed honest, yet contradictions raised doubts. Never judge scientific findings at face value, without analyzing the methodology. At face value, the document appeared genuine, but contained forged signatures. Hard and fast. Fixed and not able to be changed. Art never follows hard and fast designs, encouraging limitless expression. Science does not always follow hard and fast universally accepted principles. Hard and fast boundaries often limit innovation in rapidly changing industries. Against all odds. Despite very low chances of success. Against all odds, the activist achieved reforms, despite constant political threats. The experiment succeeded, against all odds, under strict laboratory conditions. Against all odds, the underprivileged student earned a full scholarship to Oxford. Keep up with. To make progress at the same rate as others. Consumers keep up with fashion trends through online platforms frequently. Students keep up with physics by practicing complex problem-solving regularly. Engineers keep up with sustainable design trends to meet environmental goals. By any standard. According to any measure or criterion. The painting, by any standard, represents notable creativity and technical skill. By any standard, climate change remains humanity's greatest global challenge. By any standard, her methodology in the study was rigorous and well executed. For the sake of. For the benefit or purpose of. For the sake of safety, construction workers always wear protective equipment. For the sake of truth, journalists investigate stories thoroughly before reporting. For the sake of progress, communities must embrace technology and innovation. On closer inspection. After examining more carefully and closely. On closer inspection, the ancient script revealed unknown cultural practices. On closer inspection, the problem stems from a lack of infrastructure planning. On closer inspection, plant leaves showed adaptive features for water retention. Apart from this. Except for this or besides that. The research highlighted several benefits. Apart from this, limitations existed. The evidence was compelling. Apart from this, minor inconsistencies appeared. Apart from this, experts suggested better techniques for agricultural production. Pros and cons. The advantages and disadvantages of something. The pros and cons of globalization influence countries' economic strategies. Environmentalists highlight the pros and cons of renewable energy systems. Carefully listing the pros and cons enhances critical thinking during discussions. Within this framework. Inside this structured context or system. Within this framework, policies should align with long-term ecological goals. The algorithm performs efficiently within this framework of machine learning. Innovations emerge naturally within this framework of technological progress. From another perspective. Viewed differently from another angle. From another perspective, failure in science often leads to greater discoveries. From another perspective, nuclear power offers a low-carbon energy alternative. From another perspective, ancient texts reveal cultural values lost over centuries. It poses a challenge. It presents a significant difficulty. Online misinformation spreads quickly, and it poses a challenge for journalists. With automation rising, it poses a challenge to traditional employment sectors. It poses a challenge to ensure privacy while advancing surveillance technologies. Contrary to expectations. Different from what was originally thought. Contrary to expectations, remote work improved employees' mental well-being. Contrary to expectations, the new policy worsened the unemployment situation. Contrary to expectations, renewable energy costs dropped significantly last year. This raises concerns. This brings up important worries. This raises concerns about corporate monopolies, reducing market competition. The rise in antibiotic resistance worldwide, this raises concerns for global health. Species extinction rates accelerate, and this raises concerns for biodiversity loss. The overall trend. The general direction things are heading. The overall trend shows a preference for eco-friendly transportation options. The overall trend in economics suggests widening gaps between rich nations. The overall trend in education favors digital learning over traditional methods. It remains unclear. It is still not fully understood. It remains unclear how consciousness arises from neural activity patterns. It remains unclear how dinosaurs evolved into modern-day birds precisely. It remains unclear how cultural traditions survived centuries of foreign rule. Empirical studies show. Based on observations, it demonstrates. Empirical studies show music therapy helps reduce symptoms of depression. Empirical studies show bilingualism delays the onset of age-related dementia. Empirical studies show strong social networks improve overall life satisfaction. A striking similarity. A highly noticeable resemblance exists. A striking similarity emerged between tectonic patterns on Earth and Mars. A striking similarity appears between ancient symbols and modern alphabets. A striking similarity appears in planet formation across different solar systems. Highly unlikely outcome. An event that probably won't happen. A highly unlikely outcome is Earth being naturally protected from all asteroids. The experiment yielded a highly unlikely outcome, surprising even the scientists. A highly unlikely outcome is humans surviving long, without clean drinking water. Deeply rooted beliefs. Strongly held and long-standing convictions. Deeply rooted beliefs often reject evidence supporting geological theories. Many conflicts stem from deeply rooted beliefs about territorial ownership. Deeply rooted beliefs often prevent acceptance of modern scientific findings. Tentative conclusion drawn. A provisional judgment made cautiously. A tentative conclusion drawn from early results indicates moderate correlation. Tentative conclusion drawn shows inconsistencies needing further clarification. The tentative conclusion drawn reflects preliminary trends, not absolute truths. Ongoing debate continues. Discussion that persists over time. The ongoing debate continues about censorship on digital platforms globally. Ongoing debate continues about ethical treatment in animal experimentation. Regarding gene editing, the ongoing debate continues over ethical boundaries. Scholarly debate persists. Academic disagreement continues over time. Scholarly debate persists about historical interpretations of colonial legacies. Scholarly debate persists on the ethical boundaries of human cloning research. Scholarly debate persists regarding the long-term effects of digital technology. Qualitative data analysis. Examination of non-numerical information. In history, qualitative data analysis interprets narratives from primary sources. The study applied qualitative data analysis for exploring personal experiences. Social scientists use qualitative data analysis to study cultural behaviors closely. Directly related factors. Elements closely connected to each other. Air pollution and lung diseases are directly related factors in urban areas. Environmental degradation and human activities are directly related factors. Smoking and lung cancer are directly related factors, well accepted medically. It can be concluded that it is possible to draw a final judgment. From the findings, it can be concluded that urbanization impacts biodiversity. It can be concluded that exercise improves cardiovascular function and stamina. Based on the survey, it can be concluded that teamwork improves productivity. Another potential problem. An additional possible difficulty may arise. Another potential problem with pesticides is long-term soil contamination. Another potential problem with AI is ethical concerns about privacy and bias. Another potential problem with antibiotics is rising bacterial resistance levels. A progressive trend toward. A steady movement advancing in direction. A progressive trend toward automation is reshaping manufacturing industries. A progressive trend toward online education is transforming learning models. A progressive trend toward green buildings reduces energy consumption rates. On the negative side. Considering the disadvantages or drawbacks. On the negative side, industrial farming promotes antibiotic-resistant bacteria. On the negative side, nuclear waste remains hazardous for thousands of years. On the negative side, fast food consumption contributes to rising obesity rates. I would like to add that I want to include extra information. I would like to add that nature exposure can significantly reduce stress levels. I would like to add that reading expands vocabulary and critical thinking skills. I would like to add that historical studies help us avoid repeating past mistakes. It can contribute to. It can help in causing something. It can contribute to healthier lifestyles through dietary and fitness programs. Recycling plastic is necessary as it can contribute to environmental protection. Healthy communication is vital, since it can contribute to emotional resilience. I entirely agree with. I completely support or accept that idea. I entirely agree with stricter laws protecting endangered wildlife species. I entirely agree with scientists' warning about accelerated global warming. I entirely agree with reducing meat consumption for environmental reasons. This indirectly related to. This has a connection in an indirect way. Rising sea levels are alarming, and this indirectly related to deforestation. Air quality worsens yearly, and this indirectly related to industrial emissions. Global warming intensifies storms, and this indirectly related to carbon usage. On the positive side. Looking at the beneficial aspects only. Recycling efforts, on the positive side, conserve resources and reduce waste. On the positive side, online platforms enable global collaboration in research. On the positive side, plant-based diets are reducing ecological food footprints. As shown above. As demonstrated in the previous section. As shown above, high sugar intake relates to cardiovascular disease rates. As shown above, demographic shifts affect economic output and labor supply. Satellite images, as shown above, show deforestation's alarming global spread. Taken as a whole. Considered altogether or completely. The fossil record, taken as a whole, supports evolutionary theory strongly. Taken as a whole, the ecosystem remains fragile, due to human intervention. Taken as a whole, the results validate the proposed psychological framework. This paper argues. This study presents a particular viewpoint. This paper argues that inequality stems from systemic economic structures. This paper argues that nature exposure benefits mental health development. This paper argues for integrating ethics in artificial intelligence development. Prior to this, happening before the current event. Prior to this century, global temperatures remained fairly stable historically. Prior to this, scientific knowledge relied heavily on philosophical speculation. Prior to this, communication required physical delivery of handwritten letters. In response to, as a reaction to something mentioned. In response to the pandemic, schools adopted remote learning technologies. In response to pressure, companies began improving worker welfare policies. In response to droughts, farmers adopt water-efficient irrigation technologies. In theoretical terms. In the language of theoretical concepts. In theoretical terms, string theory unifies gravity with quantum mechanics. In theoretical terms, memory could be digitized in artificial neural networks. In theoretical terms, genetic modification can eliminate hereditary diseases. A growing body. An increasing amount of collected evidence. A growing body of work investigates the neural basis of decision-making. A growing body of data confirms deforestation impacts global biodiversity. A growing body of evidence supports the theory of evolutionary adaptation. It is suggested. It is proposed or recommended thoughtfully. It is suggested that reading daily enhances memory and comprehension skills. It is suggested that meditation enhances emotional resilience in difficult times. It is suggested that regular walking improves cardiovascular and mental health. Among other things. Including but not limited to these items. Computers process data, store information, among other essential functions. Education fosters creativity, problem solving, among other cognitive abilities. Among other things, the discussion focused on gender roles in modern media. From this perspective, seen or understood in this way. From this perspective, science drives sustainable agricultural practices forward. From this perspective, failure is a stepping stone to meaningful personal growth. From this perspective, biodiversity loss threatens ecological stability worldwide. In general terms. Speaking broadly without specific details. In general terms, photosynthesis sustains life by converting sunlight into energy. In general terms, DNA carries hereditary information across all living organisms. In general terms, ecosystems function through energy flow and nutrient cycling. Beyond the scope. Outside the range of this discussion. Some genetic changes remain beyond the scope of laboratory experiments. Quantum mechanics is beyond the scope of this introductory science module. Ethical implications were deemed beyond the scope of the current discussion. At this juncture, at this particular critical point, at this juncture, sustainable farming practices are gaining wider acceptance. At this juncture, healthcare systems require reform to handle rising demands. At this juncture, green energy must replace fossil fuels to ensure sustainability. A substantial body. A large collection of supporting evidence. A substantial body of research highlights benefits of regular physical activity. A substantial body of literature explores impacts of globalization on societies. A substantial body of data reveals strong links between smoking and cancer. The primary focus. The main subject or core concern. The primary focus of conservation is protecting endangered natural species. The primary focus centers on adolescent mental health in urban communities. The primary focus of genetics is studying hereditary information transmission. In broader terms. Speaking more generally and widely. In broader terms, healthy diets improve longevity and mental well-being. In broader terms, history teaches lessons applicable to current global issues. In broader terms, literature preserves art, music, tradition, and moral values. The results support. The findings confirm or back up something. The results support the importance of early childhood education programs. The results support innovations in biotechnology for agricultural productivity. The results support predictions about economic growth driven by technology. For practical purposes. Effectively speaking, or in real terms. For practical purposes, wind energy reduces reliance on fossil fuel sources. For practical purposes, maps simplify Earth's complex geographic features. For practical purposes, time zones standardize global timekeeping systems. According to data. Based on collected facts or statistics. According to data, smoking rates decline with effective public campaigns. According to data, urban populations outnumber rural populations globally. According to data, earthquakes are most frequent near tectonic boundaries. One could suggest. It might be proposed thoughtfully. One could suggest banning harmful pesticides to protect insect biodiversity. One could suggest investing more in sustainable transportation infrastructure. One could suggest government subsidize solar energy to encourage adoption. An essential aspect. A vital or crucial part discussed. Sustainable development is an essential aspect of protecting global resources. Creativity remains an essential aspect of innovation and technological progress. An essential aspect of leadership involves building trust within the organization. With specific reference. Specifically pointing to something particular. With specific reference to health, exercise reduces cardiovascular disease risks. With specific reference to climate, Arctic regions show accelerated ice melting. With specific reference to biology, photosynthesis drives plant growth processes. A compelling argument. A convincing and persuasive case. The findings offer a compelling argument, supporting solar energy expansion. Geneticists made a compelling argument for DNA sequencing advancements. Biologists developed a compelling argument on the importance of pollinators. For analytical clarity. To make understanding more precise. For analytical clarity, scientists grouped data by geographical climate zones. For analytical clarity, examples were included to illustrate abstract concepts. For analytical clarity, biologists organized species based on genetic similarities. As mentioned earlier. As was stated in previous sections. As mentioned earlier, history provides valuable lessons for modern societies. As mentioned earlier, discipline ensures success in both academics and careers. As mentioned earlier, renewable energy can reduce dependency on fossil fuels. Clearly evident trend. A trend that is obviously observable. A clearly evident trend shows urbanization spreading across poor nations. A clearly evident trend highlights social media influencing political opinions. A clearly evident trend links deforestation with rising atmospheric CO levels. Major concern remains. The main problem or worry still exists. For historians, a major concern remains preserving original cultural artifacts. In space exploration, a major concern remains astronaut radiation exposure. In marine conservation, a major concern remains plastic pollution in oceans. Severely limited access. Very restricted ability to reach something. Some rural regions face severely limited access to modern medical services. Nomadic tribes live with severely limited access to permanent infrastructure. Refugees experience severely limited access to safety, shelter, and resources. Central theme explored. The main idea that is thoroughly examined. A central theme explored in psychology is human behavioral development. In psychology, the central theme explored is human cognitive development. A central theme explored, in economics, is scarcity versus resource allocation. Generally accepted principles. Widely recognized and trusted ideas. Engineering applies generally accepted principles of material strength testing. Generally accepted principles guide scientific ethics and experimental design. Theories rely on generally accepted principles and consistent empirical support. Logically consistent reasoning. The argument follows rational and clear steps. Historians offered logically consistent reasoning explaining empires' collapses. Philosophers used logically consistent reasoning to debate morality and justice. Logically consistent reasoning ensures decisions are based on rational evidence. Increasingly important issues. Growing topics gaining significance. Global warming and rising seas are increasingly important issues worldwide. Migration and refugee crises are increasingly important issues in global policies. Cybersecurity and privacy are increasingly important issues in modern research. Great job overall. You performed well in every aspect. Great job overall, summarizing Einstein's theory of relativity understandably. Great job overall, building this solar-powered technology prototype efficiently. Great job overall, interpreting this archaeological discovery in historical context. Well thought out. Carefully planned and logically organized idea. The mission timeline was well thought out, preventing unnecessary delays. Well thought out training improves athletic performance and reduces injuries. The analysis offers a well thought out solution to reduce air pollution radically. Consider this instead. Think about this as another option. Consider this instead, renewable energy over fossil fuels reduces emissions. Consider this instead, high-fiber diets prevent digestive diseases effectively. Consider this instead, solar water heaters save energy efficiently long-term. Let's wrap up. Let's finish or conclude this task. Let's wrap up by noting that renewable energy reduces reliance on fossil fuels. Let's wrap up this argument by highlighting the importance of teaching reform. Let's wrap up. Everyone's influences have been valuable and highly informative. It's time sensitive. Needs to be done very soon. It's time sensitive to harvest ripe crops before rainfall damages their quality. It's time sensitive to address climate change impacts immediately worldwide. Prioritize these files carefully, because it's time sensitive for section reporting. That sounds good. I agree with that suggestion happily. That sounds good. AI tools assist scientists in analyzing large datasets rapidly. That sounds good. Adding daily walking improves mental and physical health. That sounds good. Meditation techniques boost focus during hectic workdays. Keep pushing forward. Continue moving ahead despite challenges. Despite many obstacles, keep pushing forward with determination and hope. Inventors often fail repeatedly, but keep pushing forward with creativity always. The marathon is exhausting, yet keep pushing forward with determined stamina. Don't give up. Stay strong and keep trying hard. Historical revolutions were risky, yet don't give up on progress completely. When faced with obstacles, don't give up but seek different solutions instead. Teachers encourage students, don't give up, progress needs constant practice. Stay focused always. Maintain concentration at all times. Stay focused always, especially when challenges make success seem distant. Stay focused always. Distractions can undermine long-term goals and dreams. During lab experiments, stay focused always to avoid critical errors occurring. On the go. In constant activity, very busy. Modern apps help people stay productive, even while constantly on the go. Entrepreneurs are constantly on the go, managing multiple priorities each day. Fitness enthusiasts track exercises conveniently, even while on the go outdoors. Around the clock. Continuing without pause or interruption. Firefighters work around the clock during natural disasters without stopping. Security teams monitor networks around the clock for potential cyber threats. Journalists track news events around the clock for accurate reporting promptly. In the long run. Over a long period of time. Conservation programs protect wildlife habitats effectively in the long run. In the long run, space exploration may unlock resources beyond our planet. Reading daily improves vocabulary and comprehension skills in the long run. In no time. It happens almost immediately or very quickly. With proper guidance, students can master challenging concepts in no time. Using advanced software, researchers analyzed the large dataset in no time. Jump to conclusions. To make a decision without all the facts. Historians should not jump to conclusions without appropriate evidence first. Scientists warn not to jump to conclusions without examining proper evidence. Doctors carefully analyze reports instead of jumping to conclusions too quickly. Cost a fortune. A very large amount of money or property. Medical treatments without right insurance can sometimes cost a fortune. Luxury cars and clothes often cost a fortune, accessible only to the wealthy. Customized prosthetics may cost a fortune, depending on material complexity. In the nick of time. Just in time, at the last possible moment. In the nick of time, the government passed laws to prevent ecological loss. The research team repaired the telescope in the nick of time before eclipse. He submitted his assignment in the nick of time before the deadline passed. On the same page. In agreement or understanding with others. Astronomers remain on the same page while planning space missions to Mars. Engineers ensured everyone was on the same page before launching satellites. Designers stayed on the same page, developing sustainable product prototypes. Hit the reset button. To start something over again. Scientists sometimes hit the reset button after failed experiments repeatedly. Scientists hit the reset button after failed experiments to redesign hypotheses. Hitting the reset button allowed her to let go of past errors and move forward. Kill two birds with one stone. To accomplish two things at once. Practicing debates kills two birds with one stone, knowledge and confidence. Attending conferences kills two birds with one stone, learning and networking. Gardening provides relaxation and vegetables, killing two birds with one stone. Get the ball rolling. To begin or initiate something. Students got the ball rolling by brainstorming creative solutions together. Researchers got the ball rolling, designing experiments on genetic modifications. Motivators got the ball rolling, organizing workshops for employee productivity. Actions speak louder than words. People's actions show their real attitudes. Teachers prove care for students because actions speak louder than words. Community service proves actions speak louder than words about kindness. Successful companies know actions speak louder than words with customers. Better late than never. Preferable to do late than not do it at all. They joined the charity event late, better late than never, volunteers thought. She returned the borrowed book months later, better late than never politely. Adopting green energy sources is better late than never, for future sustainability. Time flies. This used to say that time passes quickly. While reading scientific journals, time flies analyzing recent research findings. In technology labs, time flies testing advanced artificial intelligence systems. While meditating, time flies, noticing subtle physiological changes in breathing. Busy as a bee. Someone who is very active or industrious. Experts stayed busy as a bee, developing efficient software solutions rapidly. She's always busy as a bee, managing multiple projects simultaneously at work. The children were busy as a bee, completing their science experiments carefully. Learn by heart. To memorize something completely. Language learners must learn by heart vocabulary to communicate effectively. Children are often encouraged to learn by heart basic multiplication tables early. Musicians learn by heart complex compositions to perform without sheet music. The lion's share. The largest part or portion. Artists received the lion's share of praise for the exhibition's success yesterday. Volunteers were happy, even though they didn't receive the lion's share reward. The wealthiest nations consume the lion's share of global energy and resources. To make matters worse. To make the situation even more unpleasant. The server crashed, and to make matters worse, backup files were corrupted. He forgot the presentation, and to make matters worse, audience arrived early. To make matters worse, air pollution surges respiratory diseases in urban areas. Add insult to injury. To make a bad situation worse for someone. She missed her promotion, and to add insult to injury, colleagues celebrated. Their flight was cancelled, and to add insult to injury, weather worsened harshly. She burned dinner, and to add insult to injury, guests arrived early unexpectedly. Saving for a rainy day. To put something aside for a future time of need. Farmers practiced crop rotation, saving for a rainy day, ensuring food security. Engineers kept spare parts, saving for a rainy day, anticipating machine failures. Tech firms invested profits, saving for a rainy day, preparing for market crashes. Don't judge a book by its cover. Should not judge based on outward appearances. Don't judge a book by its cover. Harmless insects often mimic dangerous ones. While tasting unfamiliar cuisine, I kept thinking, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Deep oceans hide fascinating glowing creatures. A little learning is a dangerous thing. An idea that little knowledge can mislead people. A little learning is a dangerous thing, when it leads to overconfidence and errors. A little learning is a dangerous thing, when people spread incorrect health advice. Politicians should be cautious, as a little learning is a dangerous thing politically. Leave no stone unturned. Do everything you can to achieve a good result. Athletes leave no stone unturned in preparing for international competitions. Investigators leave no stone unturned to trace cyberattack origins accurately. Engineers leave no stone unturned when designing sustainable energy systems. Waste not, want not. Don't waste things and you'll always have enough. In laboratory experiments, waste not, want not preserves precious chemicals. For technology projects, waste not, want not reduces unnecessary expenses. When managing energy, waste not, want not improves sustainability practices. Well begun is half done. A good beginning almost assures success. Experts believe that well begun is half done in launching innovative startups. Well begun is half done designing user-friendly software interfaces effectively. Well begun is half done while preparing laboratory safety protocols thoroughly. Come to terms with. To gradually accept a sad situation. Communities come to terms with cultural differences to boost social harmony. People must come to terms with climate change to adopt sustainable lifestyles. Students often struggle, but eventually come to terms with academic challenges. It's not rocket science. It's not as difficult as you might think. It's not rocket science. Sunlight warms Earth and drives the water cycle naturally. Programming simple applications is manageable. It's not rocket science entirely. Comparing ancient civilizations is approachable. It's not rocket science practically. Clouds on the horizon. Something that threatens to cause problems. Clouds on the horizon sometimes reveal a weather front's arrival within hours. Clouds on the horizon often signal an approaching severe thunderstorm system. The team sensed clouds on the horizon, indicating upcoming internal conflicts. By leaps and bounds. Something is improving or increasing quickly. In robotics, innovation advances by leaps and bounds with better automation. Space exploration expands by leaps and bounds, reaching distant planets faster. Education methods change by leaps and bounds using digital technology tools. Nip in the bud. Prevent something from becoming a problem. Timely policies can nip in the bud rising unemployment and economic instability. Strong parental guidance can nip in the bud juvenile delinquency and bad habits. Effective regulation can nip in the bud any form of systemic financial misconduct. Pave the way. Create a situation that allows something to happen. Space exploration missions pave the way for interplanetary colonization efforts. Artificial intelligence technologies pave the way for smarter healthcare systems. Pioneering experiments paved the way for quantum physics research worldwide. It is imperative that absolutely necessary or very important. It is imperative that engineers test prototypes before mass production begins. It is imperative that governments address climate change without further delay. It is imperative that emergency services respond quickly during natural disasters. Despite the fact that although something is true or happens, despite the fact that pollution levels have decreased, health issues still persist. The venture progressed despite the fact that resources were extremely limited. Despite the fact that people are aware, unhealthy eating habits continue to rise. It is almost certain that nearly guaranteed or expected to happen. It is almost certain that climate change will continue to affect weather patterns. It is almost certain that education systems will adapt to digital learning methods. It is almost certain that ancient civilizations influenced modern cultural practices. It is vital to recognize. It's very important to understand clearly. It is vital to recognize pollution's damaging effects on human respiratory health. It is vital to recognize deforestation's long-term impacts on wildlife and humans. It is vital to recognize early symptoms to prevent dangerous disease progression. The primary cause is the main reason something happens. The primary cause is nutrient deficiency, affecting human cognitive growth. Archaeologists determined that the primary cause is volcanic eruption debris. Researchers agreed that the primary cause is prolonged exposure to radiation. There is no denying that. It cannot be argued against or ignored. There is no denying that green energy reduces dependence on fossil fuels. There is no denying that deforestation accelerates the rate of species extinction. There is no denying that urbanization has changed lifestyles and city landscapes. It is crucial to consider. Very important to carefully think about. It is crucial to consider ethical implications in artificial intelligence research. It is crucial to consider cybersecurity measures while using digital platforms. It is crucial to consider long-term sustainability in modern farming practices. The main concern is the primary worry or issue involved. The main concern is increasing unemployment among young adults nowadays. The main concern is urban overcrowding impacting infrastructure and services. I completely disagree with. I strongly do not agree with someone. I completely disagree with historians who dismiss women's role in revolutions. I completely disagree with the idea that technology isolates human interaction. I completely disagree with the statement that science hinders human creativity. It could be argued that one can reasonably claim or suggest it could be argued that historical knowledge shapes societal values today. It could be argued that meditation improves both mental and physical health. It could be argued that renewable energy will dominate future power solutions. A common opinion is that many people generally think or believe. A common opinion is that climate change poses serious threats to humanity. A common opinion is that vaccination programs are essential for public health. A common opinion is that renewable energy reduces dependency on fossil fuels. In light of the above, considering what was mentioned earlier, in light of the above, stricter safety measures were immediately implemented. In light of the above, renewable energy policies should be urgently implemented. In light of the above, governments must invest in renewable energy sources now. If action is not taken, unless something is done or decided, if action is not taken, climate change will devastate ecosystems worldwide. If action is not taken, income inequality could increase and harm social stability. If action is not taken, deforestation will accelerate biodiversity extinction rates. Against all odds. Despite great difficulties or obstacles. The spacecraft reached Mars, against all odds, due to precise calculations. She graduated with honors, against all odds, overcoming severe obstacles. The team discovered the cure, against all odds, after months experimenting. To put it succinctly, To say something clearly and briefly. She, to put it succinctly, described the project's main challenges accurately. To put it succinctly, overfishing endangers food security for millions of people. To put it succinctly, government transparency is vital for earning citizens' trust. To the fullest extent. As much as possible or completely. He enjoyed his vacation to the fullest extent, without worrying about anything. She celebrated her promotion, to the fullest extent with her colleagues nearby. They supported the charity to the fullest extent, donating both money and time. In a similar vein. In a similar manner or style. In a similar vein, proper nutrition enhances mental focus and cognitive skills. In a similar vein, social reforms improve equality and reduce societal conflicts. In a similar vein, historical empires declined, due to political corruption entirely. As a matter of fact. Actually, in reality, to be precise. This technique, as a matter of fact, improves learning outcomes remarkably. The policy, as a matter of fact, reduces environmental degradation effectively. As a matter of fact, dolphins communicate using highly complex sound patterns. Contrary to popular belief. Opposite to what most people think. Contrary to popular belief, sharks rarely attack humans without provocation. Contrary to popular belief, sugar intake does not directly cause hyperactivity. Contrary to popular belief, Einstein struggled with languages, not mathematics. To put it differently. To say something in another way. To put it differently, social media has reshaped how data spreads worldwide. To put it differently, education is the basis of national progress and innovation. Exercise strengthens muscles. To put it differently, effort fuels human resilience. Climb the corporate ladder. To progress in one's career, within a company. He pursued certifications, to climb the corporate ladder faster than colleagues. She volunteered for challenging projects, to climb the corporate ladder quickly. Employees often attend workshops, to climb the corporate ladder successfully. A fish out of water. To feel uncomfortable in a particular situation. During microgravity experiments, astronauts feel like a fish out of water. First-year undergrads often feel like a fish out of water during oral defenses. Ancient philosophers sometimes felt a fish out of water explaining astronomy. At your wit's end. To be frustrated, not knowing what to do next. He was at his wit's end with the random results of the chemistry experiment. Without antibiotics, doctors were often at their wit's end treating infections. Engineers were at their wit's end, solving early computer overheating problems. Get out of hand. To lose control over a situation. Pollution levels may get out of hand without stricter environmental regulations. The meeting got out of hand when multiple people started interrupting non-stop. Deforestation rates might get out of hand without protection law enforcement. Up in the air. It has not yet been completely settled. Our travel plans remain up in the air due to the changing weather conditions. Job security for many workers remains up in the air after the firm restructuring. The dissertation deadline extension is up in the air after departmental changes. So far so good. Things have been successful up to now. We've avoided any major issues. So far so good with the research execution. So far so good, the new eco-friendly policies have reduced urban pollution levels. We've collected 50 surveys. So far so good, everything's continuing as expected. Know something inside and out. To know something very thoroughly. A historian knows ancient civilizations inside and out through extensive research. They know the data analysis software inside and out, making them very efficient. The scientist knows the experiment inside and out, predicting outcomes precisely. Read between the lines. To look for the real meaning of something. In academic debates, it's important to read between the lines of each argument. Reading between the lines reveals deeper political motives behind the legislation. Null and void. No longer valid, legitimate, or enforceable. Observations without reproducibility, null and void in scientific research. Climate agreements without enforcement, are practically null and void globally. Without proper authorization, the agreement is legally considered null and void. Through and through. In every part or aspect, throughout. She's an educator through and through, even outside the classroom setting. He remains loyal through and through, even under challenging circumstances. The team is committed through and through, achieving notable project results. In other words, to explain differently or more simply, the system is outdated. In other words, an upgrade is necessary immediately. He is overwhelmed with tasks. In other words, additional support is required. The solution seems simple. In other words, it requires minimal effort practically. It is often argued that people frequently claim or believe. It is often argued that sustainable farming can solve hunger issues worldwide. It is often argued that biodiversity loss threatens planetary ecological stability. It is often argued that bilingual education enhances students' cognitive flexibility. An important benefit is a key advantage or positive effect. An important benefit is increased access to quality education in remote areas. An important benefit is quicker disease diagnosis using AI in medical research. An important benefit is that electric cars produce zero tailpipe emissions daily. From my own experience, based on what I have encountered, from my own experience, early preparation reduces exam stress significantly. From my own experience, education greatly influences career prospects in life. From my own experience, teamwork boosts problem solving in many situations. Over the past few decades, during the last several 10-year periods, over the past few decades, climate change research has gained global urgency. Over the past few decades, literacy rates have increased in developing regions. Over the past few decades, obesity rates have risen due to sedentary lifestyles. One effective solution is a good way to solve the problem. One effective solution is increasing funding for renewable energy research. One effective solution is providing regular training to enhance employee skills. One effective solution is applying data analysis to predict future trends exactly. On a similar note, in a related or comparable manner. On a similar note, digital textbooks reduce paper usage and production costs. On a similar note, project success depends heavily on thorough initial planning. On a similar note, mental health improves with regular exercise and proper rest. In comparison with. When compared to something else. In comparison with rural areas, urban regions offer more healthcare facilities. In comparison with the past, modern communication is faster and more global. In comparison with other species, humans exhibit higher cognitive adaptability. This has resulted in. This caused or led to something happening. This has resulted in increased awareness about the urgency of climate action. This has resulted in significant funding for renewable energy research globally. This has resulted in greater academic interest in interdisciplinary collaboration. This sheds light on. This explains or clarifies something. This sheds light on the effectiveness of vaccines in preventing deadly epidemics. This sheds light on the connection between income and academic achievement. The recent survey results. This sheds light on employee satisfaction levels clearly. This can be resolved by. The problem can be fixed through. This can be resolved by implementing more inclusive educational frameworks. Rising cyber attacks threaten systems, yet this can be resolved by cybersecurity. Technical errors, this can be resolved by updating the software system properly. I am inclined to believe that. I'm somewhat likely to think that. I am inclined to believe that meditation improves mental health considerably. I am inclined to believe that poverty stems from systemic economic inequality. I am inclined to believe that education strengthens long-term societal stability. I firmly believe that. I strongly think or am sure that. I firmly believe that proper planning prevents most potential future mistakes. I firmly believe that early education shapes children's lifelong learning abilities. I firmly believe that regular exercise improves both physical and mental health. In addition to this. Besides this or as well as that. In addition to this, urban greenery improves mental health and well-being. In addition to this, digital literacy should be emphasized across school curricula. In addition to this, fieldwork offers real-world insights into theoretical concepts. From my perspective. According to my point of view. From my perspective, historical bias often distorts national stories in textbooks. From my perspective, education is the key to combating climate change impacts. From my perspective, stricter gun control laws ensure public safety and security. A major cause of this is a significant reason behind this situation. A major cause of this is policy gaps in executive regulations affecting industries. A major cause of this is inadequate healthcare access for vulnerable populations. A major cause of this is systemic corruption in political and economic institutions. There is a possibility that it might happen. It's a potential situation. There is a possibility that artificial intelligence may outperform human cognition. There is a possibility that renewable energy sources will replace fossil fuels soon. It is highly probable that very likely to occur or be correct. It is highly probable that exercise improves both mental and physical health. His absence, it is highly probable that everyone noticed immediately yesterday. The research, it is highly probable that findings challenge previous assumptions. It is essential to implement. Very important to put into practice. It is essential to implement strict waste management rules in industrial zones. It is essential to implement clean water access programs in rural communities. It is crucial to implement financial literacy education in national school curricula. By virtue of, because of, due to, on account of. The invention was possible by virtue of experimentation and sharp observation. By virtue of his experience, he handled complex negotiations without difficulty. By virtue of teamwork, the project achieved success beyond initial expectations. In all likelihood. Very probably, almost certain to happen. In all likelihood, traffic congestion worsens during holiday weekends in cities. In all likelihood, high-tech advances reshape industries over the next decade. With strong preparation, in all likelihood, the students will succeed tomorrow. By all indications. According to all signs or evidence. By all indications, climate change will worsen extreme weather events globally. By all indications, climate policies remain insufficient for long-term sustainability. By all indications, overfishing will collapse certain marine populations irreversibly. By all measures. According to every standard or criterion. By all measures, the city's economy has shown remarkable growth recently. By all measures, biodiversity loss threatens human survival and natural stability. By all measures, education improves scientific literacy across global populations. With due diligence. With proper care and thoroughness. With due diligence, engineers design structures resistant to earthquake damage. With due diligence, doctors evaluate experimental treatments for patient safety. With due diligence, conservationists restore habitats damaged by human activity. For the purpose of. With the intention or goal of. For the purpose of research, scientists map the human genome completely. For the purpose of medicine, nanotechnology targets cancer cells more simply. Training was provided for the purpose of improving employees' technical skills. In light of the fact. Considering or because of the fact. In light of the fact that oceans warm, coral bleaching events increased drastically. In light of the fact that atoms bond, molecules form various chemical substances. In light of the fact that forests absorb carbon, reforestation slows climate change. In close proximity. Very near or close to something. In close proximity to coral reefs, marine biodiversity reaches its highest levels. Emergency shelters were set in close proximity to flood-prone neighborhoods. Parks in close proximity encourage healthy outdoor activities for local residents. In alignment with. In agreement or accordance with. The curriculum was revised in alignment with students' evolving learning needs. Leadership actions taken in alignment with ethical principles build strong trust. Scientific research progressed in alignment with societal needs for sustainability. On behalf of. Representing or speaking for someone. The representative voted on behalf of citizens unable to attend elections. He spoke on behalf of the committee during official negotiations confidently. On behalf of parents, she requested additional school resources immediately. In terms of priority. Regarding importance or order of preference. In terms of priority, climate change mitigation efforts must increase urgently. Customer satisfaction, in terms of priority, defines our company's reputation. Staff training, in terms of priority, enhances overall operational performance. In a broader sense. Considering more generally or widely. Freedom, in a broader sense, represents personal and collective responsibility. Sustainability, in a broader sense, requires global cooperation and local action. Leadership, in a broader sense, combines vision with practical influential skills. A case in point. An example that illustrates something clearly. Renewable energy, a case in point, demonstrates progress in sinking emissions. The pandemic, a case in point, revealed healthcare system weaknesses clearly. Remote work, a case in point, reshapes traditional office practices permanently. A striking contrast. A very noticeable difference between things. The city skyline, a striking contrast, highlights modern and historic architecture. Her calm demeanor, a striking contrast, reflected intense professional pressure. His optimism, a striking contrast, opposed the general public's pessimism clearly. A substantial impact. A significant effect or strong influence. The pandemic had a substantial impact on small business operations globally. Antibiotic resistance has a substantial impact on global public health outcomes. Solar energy adoption can have a substantial impact on reducing fossil fuel use. Despite the fact that, even though something is true, despite the fact that renewable energy is growing, fossil fuels still dominate. Despite the fact that science advances quickly, many diseases still lack cures. Despite the fact that plastic recycling exists, much waste still pollutes oceans. Due to the fact that. Because, as a result of something. Due to the fact that antibiotics kill bacteria, resistance has become a problem. Due to the fact that species compete, ecosystems maintain a delicate balance. Due to the fact that water evaporates, the hydrological cycle constantly renews. For the most part. Generally, mostly, in the main. The city, for the most part, maintained cleanliness despite high resident density. The findings, for the most part, confirmed earlier scientific hypotheses accurately. For the most part, the experiment confirmed the researchers' original hypothesis. In the long run. Eventually, over an extended period. In the long run, renewable energy sources will replace fossil fuels completely. In the long run, ocean acidification threatens coral reefs and marine biodiversity. In the long run, reducing carbon emissions will stabilize global climate conditions. In the same vein. Similarly, in a comparable manner. The article covered technology, in the same vein, explaining AI applications. The seminar encouraged research, in the same vein, teaching critical thinking. The report highlighted safety, in the same vein, outlining preventive measures. On the other hand, considering a different or opposite view. The software is affordable, on the other hand, lacks advanced functionalities. The city is modern, on the other hand, traffic congestion remains problematic. The economy is mending, on the other hand, inflation remains a grave concern. On the whole. Generally, taking everything into account. On the whole, the human brain contains around 86 billion neurons. On the whole, the book provides true historical accounts and engaging stories. On the whole, fossils provide essential evidence of Earth's prehistoric life forms. One can infer that it can be concluded or deduced that one can infer that plants release oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. One can infer that antibiotics target bacteria without harming human cells. One can infer that socioeconomic factors influence access to quality education. one way or another. By some method or in any case. One way or another, the company must reduce operational costs immediately. He will succeed, one way or another, despite numerous impediments presented. On the basis of. Because of using as a foundation. The rules were enforced, on the basis of prior governmental regulation strictly. Promotions were given, on the basis of employees' performance and dedication. Policies were developed, on the basis of international best practices consistently. To a certain degree. Partially, somewhat, or to some extent. To a certain degree, students understood complex concepts after the lecture. Public awareness helps environmental change, to a certain degree, not entirely. His argument, to a certain degree, convinced even skeptical audience members. In this regard. Concerning this specific matter or aspect. Technology aids learning. In this regard, online platforms are very effective. In this regard, the brain's plasticity allows recovery after certain types of injury. In this regard, ethical considerations must precede all experimental procedures. In practical terms, when applied to real-world situations. In practical terms, artificial intelligence improves customer service dealings. In practical terms, exercising daily improves both physical and mental health. In practical terms, balanced diets retain energy and prevent chronic diseases. A notable difference. An easily observed and significant change. A notable difference exists between passive listening and active engagement. A notable difference exists between renewable and fossil fuel energy sources. A notable difference exists between human and animal cognitive skills clearly. It becomes apparent. It becomes clear and easily recognizable. It becomes apparent human actions significantly affect biodiversity loss globally. After testing, it becomes apparent that the solution requires minor adjustments. It becomes apparent that technology shapes modern culture and communication. Raises important questions. Brings up an issue needing discussion. This discovery raises important questions about early human migration routes. The new evidence raises important questions about ancient human migrations. Climate change raises important questions regarding future global food security. A broader implication. A larger meaning or consequence implied. The archaeological site uncovers a broader implication about ancient societies. Dietary changes in populations have a broader implication on health outcomes. The invention's success shows a broader implication on future communications. Widely debated issue. A topic discussed by many individuals. Space colonization is a widely debated issue among futurists and scientists. Globalization remains a widely debated issue in cultural and economic spheres. Climate change remains a widely debated issue in political and scientific circles. From time to time. Occasionally, not happen consistently. From time to time, scientists discover fossils reshaping evolutionary theories. From time to time, leaders emerge who change history's course dramatically. From time to time, scientific paradigms shift due to groundbreaking evidence. It is generally agreed that most people commonly accept this idea. It is generally agreed that honesty builds stronger interpersonal relationships. It is generally agreed that education shapes societal development significantly. It is generally agreed that censorship limits democratic expression and freedom. It should be noted that pay attention to this important point. It should be noted that tectonic plates constantly move under Earth's surface. It should be noted that global trade fosters both cooperation and competition. It should be noted that food security depends heavily on sustainable practices. It has been shown that evidence has clearly proven this point. It has been shown that vaccines effectively reduce infectious disease spread. It has been shown that noise pollution harms marine animal communication. It has been shown that smoking significantly increases the risk of lung cancer. To clarify this issue, to make the problem easier to understand, to clarify this issue, stakeholders engaged in open debates with transparency. To clarify this issue, one must understand the historical background of conflict. To clarify this issue, several meetings were scheduled over the following week. In the last century. Referring to events of past 100 years. In the last century, human lifespans have significantly increased worldwide. In the last century, global temperatures have steadily risen due to pollution. In the last century, climate change has accelerated due to industrial activities. Based on evidence. Supported by data or factual information. Based on evidence, gender equality improves overall economic productivity. Based on evidence, financial stress impacts students' academic performance. Nutritionists promote whole foods, based on evidence from dietary research. In line with. Consistent or matching something else. In line with theories of motivation, rewards enhance student performance. In line with modern trends, businesses focus on sustainability and innovation. In line with reforms, education systems emphasized applied learning methods. During the past century. Over the last 100-year span. During the past century, political ideologies shifted multiple times in Europe. During the past century, gender roles have transformed in multiple societies. During the past century, ecological concerns grew due to industrial pollution. An important aspect. A critical and significant part discussed. Efficient time management is an important aspect of academic achievement. An important aspect of physics includes understanding matter and its motion. Emotional intelligence is an important aspect of successful human interaction. This study examines. This research closely analyzes a subject. This study examines historical migration patterns across ancient continents. This study examines environmental impacts of fast fashion production cycles. This study examines how diet influences long-term cardiovascular disease risk. A significant number. A notably large or meaningful quantity. A significant number of innovations come from space exploration research. A significant number of earthquakes occur along tectonic plate boundaries. A significant number of historical artifacts remain undiscovered underwater. In academic discourse. In discussions within scholarly settings. In academic discourse, clarity helps students grasp difficult subjects effectively. In academic discourse, evidence-based arguments hold the greatest credibility. In academic discourse, peer review ensures accuracy and reliability of research. This further suggests. This additionally points toward something. This further suggests space dust contributes to planetary formation processes. This further suggests ancient trade routes shaped cultural exchange patterns. This further suggests nutrition impacts both mental and physical performance. A significant impact. A considerable effect or influence. Food insecurity has a significant impact on child growth and learning capacity. Industrialization had a significant impact on both economy and environment. Education reforms bring a significant impact on literacy and employment rates. In direct contrast. Completely different from something. In direct contrast, urban areas experience higher pollution than rural regions. In direct contrast to manual labor, automation increases production efficiency. In direct contrast, urban lifestyles differ greatly from rural traditions worldwide. The key findings. The most important discovered results. The key findings revealed: genetic inheritance explains many inborn diseases. The key findings revealed a correlation between social media and anxiety levels. The key findings suggested diet strongly influences long-term cognitive function. A vital component. A necessary and important part. A vital component of astronomy is precise measurement of stellar distances. Effective communication is a vital component of successful team management. A vital component of sustainability is reducing waste and conserving resources. Negligibly small impact. An effect so small it's insignificant. Solar flares have a negligibly small impact on deep underground systems. Those particles caused a negligibly small impact on experimental behavior. For healthy adults, moderate coffee has a negligibly small impact on sleep. Highly variable rates. Great fluctuations in measured occurrences. Economic growth demonstrates highly variable rates across global regions. Mutation shows highly variable rates across different cellular environments. Forest growth exhibits highly variable rates, depending on rainfall availability. Driving force behind. The main motivator causes an effect. Passion remains the driving force behind artists' commitment to their craft. Profit is often the driving force behind corporate decision-making processes. Innovation has been the driving force behind many technological revolutions. Conceptually similar models. Theoretical frameworks share key ideas. The two religions present conceptually similar models of morality and ethics. Many historical events follow conceptually similar models of rise and decline. Conceptually similar models are used in marketing to predict consumer trends. Let's rethink this. We should consider a different approach. Let's rethink this energy model, replacing coal plants with solar power farms. Let's rethink this waste system to reduce non-biodegradable plastic in oceans. Let's rethink this approach to farming by using drought-resistant crop varieties. Identify root cause. Find the main reason behind problem. To reduce crime rates, experts need to identify root cause and mediate early. Experts identify root cause of obesity as unhealthy eating and lacking exercise. Engineers identify root cause of structural weaknesses before offering solutions. Let's troubleshoot this. Let's find and fix the issue. The experiment failed repeatedly, so let's troubleshoot this issue carefully. The patient's symptoms persist, so let's troubleshoot this condition thoroughly. The sensor readings fluctuate, let's troubleshoot this calibration error promptly. Turn over a new leaf. To make a fresh start by changing behavior. After the scandal, the politician tried to turn over a new leaf and regain trust. Historical leaders sometimes turn over a new leaf, promoting peace effectively. Entrepreneurs turn over a new leaf, revising failing business strategies carefully. In full swing. Happening at the highest level of activity. The agricultural harvest is in full swing, before the approaching rainy season. The planetary observation program is in full swing, during clear summer skies. The football tournament was in full swing, as fans cheered passionately loudly. Go with the flow. To do or accept what other people are doing. During historical analysis, researchers often go with the flow cautiously. In stressful situations, going with the flow can help reduce anxiety and stress. During negotiations, learning to go with the flow allows for better settlements. Leave no stone unturned. Try everything possible to achieve something. Archaeologists leave no stone unturned, searching ancient ruins for artifacts. Nutritionists leave no stone unturned, analyzing patient diets for deficiencies. AI developers leave no stone unturned, improving machine learning accuracy. Behind the scenes. Working or happening out of public view. Many crucial decisions are made behind the scenes, without public knowledge. Innovations usually result from hard work, behind the scenes by dedicated teams. Behind the scenes, volunteers assisted communities affected by natural disasters. When it rains, it pours. Problems often come all at once. A virus outbreak occurred. When it rains, it pours, spreading quickly globally. The experiment exploded, and when it rains, it pours, other equipment failed. Historians discovered fraud. When it rains, it pours, unearthing more deception. The last straw. The last in a series of unpleasant events. Missing the important meeting was the last straw for his impatient manager. Ecological damage often worsens gradually, until the last straw causes disaster. The neighbor's noise complaint was the last straw, after weeks of disturbances. A storm in a teacup. A lot of trouble about something unimportant. A storm in a teacup usually distracts people from more serious issues at hand. Media often creates a storm in a teacup by exaggerating minor political events. Recognizing a storm in a teacup helps focus attention on truly essential matters. Keep an eye on. Watch a situation closely to see what happens. Doctors keep an eye on patients' vitals during post-surgery recovery carefully. Motivators keep an eye on team progress to ensure productivity consistently. Programmers keep an eye on server performance to avoid unexpected crashes. Come rain or shine. No matter what, regardless of the circumstances. Motivators inspire employees come rain or shine to retain team engagement. Athletes train rigorously, come rain or shine, for peak performance preparation. Teachers conduct outdoor experiments, come rain or shine, for practical learning. Part and parcel. A basic and necessary part of something. Cultural exchange is part and parcel of globalized education and tourism today. Collaboration is part and parcel of successful scientific and academic endeavors. Technological disruptions are part and parcel of modern economic development. In a body. Do something together as a group. In a body of knowledge, historical documents reveal societal transformations. In a body, the brain controls movement, thoughts, and essential life functions. Residents marched in a body to demand better public transportation facilities. Next to nothing. A very small amount, almost nothing. Some volunteers work tirelessly, for next to nothing, but still remain dedicated. Many internships offer students next to nothing in financial support or benefits. Educational opportunities in remote regions are often valued at next to nothing. This may be due to possibly caused by or explained by the machine malfunctioned today. This may be due to inadequate maintenance. Air pollution increased extremely. This may be due to unchecked industrial units. Increased traffic accidents may be due to poor road conditions and rash driving. All things considered. After taking everything into account. All things considered, antibiotics increased life expectancy more than expected. All things considered, electricity shaped modern history more than any invention. All things considered, the printing press revolutionized learning across the globe. It is almost certain that very likely to happen or be true. It is almost certain that urban populations will keep growing in coming decades. It is almost certain that education reforms will improve literacy rates worldwide. It is almost certain that international cooperation is needed to tackle pandemics. To illustrate this point. To give an example explaining this. To illustrate this point, historical papers reveal early trade networks globally. To illustrate this point, solar panels reduce electricity consumption effectively. To illustrate this point, meditation reduces stress hormone levels in participants. I support the view that. I agree with the opinion or belief that. I support the view that the Internet accelerates knowledge sharing worldwide. I support the view that technology enhances communication in modern society. I support the view that urbanization impacts the environment negatively overall. There is no denying that. It's impossible to refuse or reject. There is no denying that poverty continues to challenge many poor countries. There is no denying that AI influences modern workplace efficiency extensively. There is no denying that teamwork enhances overall productivity in workplaces.